anticipation has been building throughout the entirety of this week, and now it will be a catfight here at Wilson Field. It'll be the Chapman Panthers facing off against the almighty University of Arizona Wildcats. If you're the Chapman Panthers now, it is do or die. With all that said and done, more coming up to you live, so stay tuned here on CSBN. It is a beautiful day here in sunny Orange, California at the home of the Chapman Panthers at Wilson Field. Quite the game we have lined up for us. Chapman Panthers facing off the University of Arizona. My name is Lucas Patton, and I will be your play-by-play in today's game, accompanied by my partner in crime, CJ Smith, with our very own Alex Dorr down there on the sidelines. But CJ, tell me, in the SLC, Chapman is so close to other teams. What are we going to expect to see in this game?
Of course, at this point in the season, we have UCLA, USC, GCU, University of Arizona, as well as Chapman, all fighting for the last 3 playoff spots. Now, all these boys better be ready for today's matchup because it could be make or break for their championship season. I believe the Chapman Panthers are ready with our starting lineup. We have number 44 on attack, Dante DeColobus. Number 33, Adam McDonald. Number 5, Rocco Reginelli. Our face-off specialist, number 7, Cody Shevelson on defense. We have number 20, Russell Wilkinson. Number 4, Anthony Mills. Number 10, Shandon Hanamoto. Number 31, Tyler Pandis. And number 17, Nico Ursino. Now on the midfield side, we have number 22, Jack Worth, number 42, Luke Morissette, and number 21, Josh Bowman. Now over in the net, we'll get into him more later, but our goalie is freshman, number 23, Ryan Shugart. These boys are ready to play. It's going to be awesome, but what can we expect from Arizona's lineup today?
No doubt, CJ. Looking at Arizona's lineup, they have quite the team out there. Connor Dietloff, number 7, Carson Kraft. We'll mention him a bit later in the broadcast. One of those star players. When you look at the rest of them, Hunter Kirby, the face-off specialist, he's second in SLC, has 126 face-offs, 1 to his name, and 77 lost. Rocco Schramm, Gunnar Hinden, Cooper Rainey, another star player for this team, Brendan Barry in the defense, and a freshman goalie, Aiden Schuyler. He hasn't played too much this season, CJ. 13 saves and 59% save ratio, 9 goals against him, so hopefully he'll be looking to really establish and make a name for himself in this game. But now transitioning over to some of these star players, when you look at the University of Arizona, their captain on offense is the sophomore, number 7, Carson Kraft. He has been absolutely flying this season. Currently, he stands second in the SLC for goals. 25 goals for him, 25 ground balls, and 16 assists. So overall, he is an absolute machine on offense. But you have your yin, and now your yang for the University of Arizona. Number 40, Cooper Rainey. He's another one of those shifty players. Both of these players underclassmen, Cooper Rainey being a sophomore. And when you look at his stats, 8 ground balls, 24 goals, and 2 assists. Right behind Carson Kraft in the SLC. Cooper Rainey stands at 3rd with 24, so 2 absolutely amazing players. Now transitioning to Chapman.
We have number 33, Adam McDonald. He is a sophomore attacker, making a name for himself thus far in the season. He has 13 goals, 2 assists, and 7 ground balls. Some pretty solid stats, but Coach Callis told us that he expects McDonald to be a leader on the field as he goes into his upperclassman years. But right now we have number 21, our senior captain, Josh Bowman. He is currently 9th in SLC goals, making quite the name for himself. Applied human physiology major. He has 18 goals, 5 assists, and 9 ground balls. Amazing stats for our senior midfielder. Can't wait to see what both of them are going to do today. But I want to hear what Alex Dorr has over on the sidelines. Alex?
Well, she'll join us in just a second, CG, but looking at the strategy for this game, of course, the University of Arizona is a rather tough one as we go down to Alex Dorr. Alex, what do you got for us?
Thank you, Lucas and CJ. Now, a bit of a goalkeeping switch up from Arizona. All season, they have been relying on number 4, Jaheim Fritz, the sophomore sensation who ranks 3rd in the SLC for saves. However, it does not appear as though Fritz has traveled with the team today. Instead, he will be replaced by number 39, Aiden Schuyler, the freshman, with just a few games under his belt. Now, turning it over to Chapman's side of the field, you are looking at the top dog in the SLC with Ryan Sugart, who leads the conference with 153 saves. Just a freshman, Sugart ranks 4th in the NCLA for saves, and he just keeps getting better. Last week, as Chapman faced off against GCU, Sugart totaled 27 saves, a season high for the freshman phenom. Now, 2 young guys in goal, one who has absolutely made a name for himself already, the other who will definitely be looking to leave a lasting impression after today's game. Lucas, CJ, back up to you.
Thank you so much, Alex, for that great insight on the goalies. A really underappreciated position in goalie. But now speaking on the strategy of these Chapman Panthers, currently 2-7 in the season. Something hasn't been working for them, and Coach Callis had something to say about it in a meeting that we had with him.
Of course he did. He said that today his strategy is going to switch a little bit. Instead of having 1 long stick midfielder in the game, he is going to have 2 in efforts to stop their powerhouse offensive players. Now, I think that is going to work out well for them. We don't really know. It's up for the game, but I think it's going to go fantastic. What do you think that's going to play out as?
Well, when you put 2 long stick midfielders at the beginning of the game for face-off, typically it's to try to mix up the face-off specialist. Hunter Kirby, of course, as we mentioned previously, 2nd in SLC. So we know if he doesn't have that pressure combating him, he'll have a very good time with your team. With all that said and done, only time will truly be able to tell how this game is going to play out. And now we'll throw down to the field for the beginning of the game. When you look at this lineup, CJ, it's a bit of a mix-up. One of the star players for the Chapman Panthers, number 42, Luke Morissette, another captain for this team. Truly one of those offensive-driven players. Unfortunately, in this game, not starting in this place will be number 5, Rocco Reginelli, the sophomore, one of the players who Coach Callis has mentioned, who he wants to truly develop into a captain for the upcoming years.
Yes, of course. We do have Luke Morissette coming in today, but I believe that some of our younger players, this fresh team, is going to show us what's up. We have number 7, Cody Shevelson, down for our face-off specialist. And on the Arizona side, we have, I believe it is Kirby.
Hunter Kirby, yes.
22, there we go. Possession over to Arizona.
Now it'll be the Wildcats to get underway. Of course, Hunter Kirby, as we saw moments ago, was able to win the face-off. One thing that he is known for, and it'll be the Wildcats quickly on the attack.
Yes, of course.
It'll be Eklund with the ball now. Junior midfielder from Tucson, Arizona. So playing locally, you love to see players who stay local and play at their colleges, I'm sure. Growing up, they've seen the college and they've seen the giant stadium that University of Arizona has to display as they're playing it out from the X.
Yes, of course. Looking around the crease, they're trying to find an opening over here. University of Arizona.
Played out with some space. Shots taken, and it was too far off to the right. A bit of a bit of a scare for Ryan Sugart at the beginning, but luckily nothing to avail from that one as the Wildcats will get back underway. Just hits the turf on that one. Is able to recover Kraft. Still holding on to the ball. Tips it off. Ground ball recovered by the Wildcats. Very well done. Played it out. Just not able to hold onto the ball, and Chapman Panthers pursue.
Now we know that ground balls is the most crucial stat in all of lacrosse.
As the save is made by Sugart.
There we go. So these ground balls are really going to be important for both sides today to get possession. Crucial for both of them. But right now it's going to be number 31, Tyler Pandis.
Tyler Pandis. And the name, or in the team, excuse me, his nickname, Panda. one of the true captains of this defense. Of course, it is a younger defensive unit as Chapman has possession for the first offensive drive of the game.
Checking in 42,
Of
Luke
course.
Morissette.
Coach Callis told us that last year when he had most of his defensive line graduate, it was a bit of a struggle to get a new young team, but it looks like it's working out. Now we're on the offensive side over here.
It'll be Luke Morissette, one of the offensive captains for this Chapman side. Last year, an honorable mention all-conference attack. And the team captain, now Morissette, takes a low shot, and it's saved by the freshman Skyler. His 13th save of the season. Not too much action for him, but now it looks to be a quick break for the Wildcats. Has some space, plays it out, now takes the shot. And it's tipped out to the left. And a few scares early on in this game for goalie Sugart.
Yes, Lucas. We do know that Arizona tends to take the 12, 15-yard line for shots, which works out for Sugart as he is so confident and dominant in the net. So he'll hopefully be able to save some of those wider shots.
No doubt, as the ball gets underway in Chapman territory. Wildcats territory. And for the Chapman's offense, one of the issues that they've had throughout the season, they don't have that standout player. As you mentioned, Josh Volman is leading in goals with 18. But when you look at some of these other teams, they have that one or two golden players who just absolutely fly off when they're playing. Now Bruggeman has it, played out to Walker. And Walker in face elects to take it inside. Tries to line up a shot, plays it back to Bruggeman. Played out to the X, Langley. Or not Langley, DeColbus, excuse me. Back out to DeColbus. Played back out to the X. Still with the ball, spins. Can he get away from him and outside the crease? Checks it inside, plays it off, and can he make it count? Not yet. Shot's taken and just a little bit too far to the right from the shot. Dante DeColbus, the junior attack.
I'm liking the aggression that we're seeing from the Chapman Panthers today. You know, previous to this game, we spoke to Coach Callis, and he wanted the Panthers to have no expectations, and it looks like they're playing loose.
DeColbus still with it. Has a defender in front of him, tries to swim him, is tripped up, and a flag will be thrown. Chapman still with the ball, played inside, quick spin, and Rocco Reginelli. What a goal that would have been.
That would have been amazing. It flew way over the goal line, out of the field. However, I love that look. I love that aggression from Rocco Reginelli.
Official goes, hold on, 27 for the Wildcats. 30 seconds.
27. Jason Ward with a 30-second foul. The sophomore defender, 23 ground balls, so quite the stat he has. A lot of underclassmen in this game as the Panthers are back underway. DeColbus played out to Worth. Worth just distributing around Vomand. Out to the corner, Reginelli to the X. Now it'll be Morissette, one of the captains for this team, as previously mentioned. Back to Jack Worth, one of the captains. Can he make the shot count? No, we can't. And
Wow,
a 15th
freshman
save.
Aiden Schuyler in the net. He is making himself a name in this game. So far, his stats haven't been phenomenal, but that was a great save from our goalie on the Arizona side.
No doubt. An interesting fact. You don't see this all the time, CJ. Both goalies starting in this game, both freshmen alongside Aiden Schuyler and Ryan Sugart. You don't see that too often, especially in the MCLA.
No, you don't. Coach Callis told us that sometimes it takes a season and a half, 2 seasons to get really into it, but our freshmen on both sides seem to be picking up quite quickly in the net.
No doubt, as the ball is back under Wildcats' possession. It'll be Peterson.
He's taking it out.
Chapman Panthers just electing to play zone defense, not riding the offense as aggressively now from the X. Played out to the far side around the 20-yard line. Has a defender in front, plays it back out. This rotation of passes that we're seeing from the Wildcats just trying to open up the Chapman Panthers. Now on the X, close to the crease. It'll be Kraft. We know he's dangerous. 25 goals on the season. Takes it in for, tries the crease jump. Can he make it count? No, he can't. Just off to the left. And that movement that Carson Kraft does where he comes out from the back and then jumps the crease. Almost a signature move that he has, and maybe a big reason as to why he has 25 goals now. Shovels him off. And a bit of a mix-up, a ball recovered by the Chapman Panthers and very well defended by Lucas Losi. Now it'll be Ursino, formerly a football player here at Chapman University, and he's using that athleticism quickly. We saw a goal like this from him earlier, and he does it again by himself. Another solo run, and the first goal of this game, Nicholas Ursino
Wow, that was an amazing goal from Nico Ursino. He is the junior midfielder, but today he's playing on defense right now. Phenomenal goal out of him.
And that a movement that we've seen time and time again from Nicholas Ursino, just getting the ball by himself and running it. His 4th goal of the season and an unassisted goal, so truly an absolute unit. His brother, of course, CJ, was a running back on the football team. And as the faceoff is won by the Chapman Panthers, but a bit of a fumble, Anthony Mills, one of the freshman defenders, is able to hold it off. A bit of a mix-up. Sugart able to recover.
Chapman Panthers rely on 23 Shirt in the goal to clear those balls out. They know he's powerful and they know to pass to him.
No doubt, as we see Walker with the ball. Sophomore midfielder, of course, as a flag is thrown. An offside violation by the Chapman Panthers. They'll be back underway. It'll be Patrick Sabri to come back into the game as he collects the ball. Now it'll be Brugman playing it out. DeColobus has a man in front, plays it back in. Sabri now with some space, tries to take it in, plays it back out to DeColobus. McDonald, one of the star players we've mentioned, and also a classmate of ours, as Walker takes the shot. Tries the high to low bounce shot, but just can't get past Skylar. Holden Walker with his first shot of the game.
Phenomenal look from him. I'm loving the shooting that we're having on goal. They know that this game is do or die, like you previously mentioned, Lucas. So the Chapman Panthers are bringing the energy, bringing the heat, making sure that they are staying on top of all possible things that they can do, taking the shots when they can, clearing to or giving it to Sugart to clear when they can, and really overall just having a phenomenal strategy for this game.
And when you have those bounce shots, CJ, it's always so difficult to predict as the ball is back underway for the Chapman Panthers. Worth, some would say the pride of Boulder, Colorado, back to Worth. Vomand. Good sequence of passing from these Chapman Panthers back to Vomand, and Worth with some space. Plays it in, McDonald with the low shot and just off to the left.
Good look from Adam McDonald. We know that he is an assertive player. We know that he likes to take those shots, and this game is no different than previous. That was a great look from him.
Great look indeed as the Chapman Panthers are back to Colbus from the X, plays it into McDonald. McDonald with a jump shot, and Skylar saves. As a former goalie yourself, CJ, in women's lacrosse, you can understand how difficult it is to deal with those jump shots, but Skylar able to deal as he clears.
Of course. These goalies really have their work cut out for them, especially at the MCLA level. Like I previously mentioned, Callis says that it takes a few seasons to get into it, and yet these goalies are doing just fine.
As the first timeout is called, University of Arizona called it. So now, CJ, when you look at the last few moments of this game, around 7 minutes and 43 seconds remaining in this first quarter of action, a lot more offense that we've seen from this Chapman side. Of course, this a recurring theme that we've seen throughout the season for the Chapman Panthers.
Yes, indeed it is. You're completely right. Coach Callis, like I said earlier, the defensive line from last year mostly graduated. So Coach Callis is relying on his offense to help out the new defenders, the fresh team, to go forward and to make this season better than it has been thus far. Like we said, the stakes are high. Our defensive team is going to have to keep working, keep protecting Sugart from the ball, because these Arizona attackers and midfielders really are going for it, really have aggressive play from both sides, lots of shots being taken. We'll see how it goes. We are up 1, Chapman, Arizona 0, with 7 minutes and some left in the first quarter.
And when you mention the defense for this Chapman Panthers side, ironically, you could say, the first person to score in this game was Nicholas Ursino, number 17. And although he's listed as a defenseman for this game, typically an SSDM, last season, first team All-Conference SSDM and second team All-American. So apart from his natural physicality that he was able to pick up playing football, his lacrosse skills are just as good and if not better.
Of course. Now, obviously, the stick skills required in lacrosse are not something that you can replicate on the football field. However, we saw in that first breakaway that he had that he's got wheels on him. Nico Racino, he can really run it down the field, take those shots when he needs to, and, you know, it just works out sometimes.
Just works out sometimes, as the Wildcats will be the ones who get us back underway. Passing it around. McKernan now has a player in front, spins him and has some space. Tries to find space for the shot, but fumbles it. Is the ground ball able to be recovered? Bit of a scramble down there for the Chapman Panthers and the Wildcats, but it appears the Wildcats will be able to hold on to possession. It was Josh Peterson. That his 18th ground ball of the season. As the ball is played into the crease and saved by Sugar. Those are the type of saves that he typically is known for one-on-one, especially in that first game against Cal Poly, and there's been so many other games that we have to mention, but the Chapman Panthers on a quick attack. Rocco Reginelli. Now play it to McDonald. DeColobus. Playing it around. And when you look at this Chapman offense, CJ, the first 2 quarters are typically where they like to score. And in this game, it's going to be a difficult task to see if they can keep up that scoring as the game progresses.
Of course, you know, in like any other game, you want to get a fresh head start. You want to have the energy, go above into the half line or the halftime, and it looks like it's going well right now.
Now it'll be Morset back on it. Worth with a shot and just skims the top right corner of the cage. Another scare for Aiden Schuyler.
These attackers, these midfielders, this offensive line really hammering it down on our freshman Aiden Schuyler, trying to let it goal in, just like Nico did at the beginning.
As Morset was tripped up, but no flag. Back to Worth, now Vomand has a player in front. Vomand tries to take it around him. Can he get the shot off? He can, and it's saved by Schuyler. Tripped up is Vomand, and now a bit of a scramble. Morset pushed to the ground and recovered by the Chapman Panthers. Tries to jump the crease, but just fumbles it, and the ground ball will be recovered by the Wildcats.
Of course, we see, just as we mentioned previously, ground balls, that statistic, is one of the most important, if not the most important in the game of lacrosse. So we really see in instances like that where you need to get the ground ball to have possession, to get a breakaway, to go for the goal, go for a shot, you know, anything like that. That's why ground balls are so crucial.
As the ball was just absolutely rocketed up the field, it appeared it was the defender for the Wildcats who tried to find his teammate up there, Sean McDonald, senior D-pole. Wildcats now will hold on to possession.
Looks like they're slowing down gameplay a little bit, playing it cool, nice and chill. Looking for a breakaway.
Quick breakaway by them, and shots taken, and still again, just off to the left side. A few scares for Sugar, but luckily he's only need to make 1 save so far. Hopefully he'll be able to keep that up as the ball is back underway with the Wildcats. Tries to find the man in front, takes the shot, and it's in! The Wildcats tie it up. And a huge goal from distance.
Sugar, he couldn't help that one. That was an absolute missile into the net. I believe it was right between the legs for Ryan Sugar. Those are one of the hardest shots to block. Like Lucas previously mentioned, I was a goalie whenever I played women's lacrosse, and I know that those shots specifically are difficult to make as you have to move your stick all the way in between you two. Difficult to make. Unfortunate for Ryan Sugar, but it will be rectified with this next face-off.
Now tying the game up with a little bit under 5 minutes remaining in this first quarter of action. Now it stands Chapman 1, University of Arizona 1.
We just saw number 7, Cody Shevelson, going to Ryan Shugart. Like I said previously, they trust Shugart. They know that he is a weapon in the net, and they use him at every convenience.
Now it'll be Arizona back on the attack. Likes to take it by himself, but just finds his teammate waiting out for the switches. Of course, an interesting thing in lacrosse is that you can switch in and out as freely as you'd like. The goal last time was scored by Gunnar Hinden, the junior midfielder. This, his 17th goal in the season. And it'll be the Wildcats who stay on the attack. That'll be McKernan, has some space in front, takes the shot and just above the head of Ryan Sugar and out. So a recurring theme that we've seen, CJ, a lot of shots, pushing double digits already for University of Arizona, but not too many on target.
Of course. You know, like we said, this is a really important game. They got to win this to have an equal shot at playoffs. So both of these teams are looking for every opportunity they can to get a point.
Carson Kraft trying to jump the crease, and what a goal to put the Wildcats into the lead. Carson Kraft, his 26th of the season.
Phenomenal goal from number 7, Carson Kraft. Kraft, excuse me. Only a sophomore engineering major from Carlsbad, California. That was phenomenal.
Absolute huge goal from him. A bit of frustration for the Chapman Panthers, who have been on offense for the majority. And as we see the bench light up after that goal, huge goal from him. Of course, we know that Carson Kraft is a great player, CJ. And when you give him space like that, typically he'll take advantage of it as we get set for the third face-off of the night.
Of course. We are at Chapman 1, Arizona 2.
As Hunter Kirby gets it into Chapman territory, but just not able to recover as the ball is taken out very quickly. No time wasting for Russell Wilkinson, the LSM for the Chapman Panthers. And now the ball will be slowed down.
One of the LSMs. Lucas Patton, only one.
One of 2 LSMs, no doubt, CJ. Now it'll be back to Worth. Has more set, plays it out to him.
These upperclassmen, they've been playing together for so long. They really have a groove going. They know their places on the fields. They know when to pass. They know when to hold on to it. They know when to take their shots. It's really the beauty of playing with the team for as long as these Panthers have.
Now it'll be Volman with some space and shoots it to the near post, and it's good. And tied up again. Back and forth in this game. Josh Volman, the leader for these Chapman Panthers, scores another, and that his 19th of the season.
Yes. Josh Bowman, our key player, like we said, he is really dominant. Look at that shot in the celebration. The bench looking excited about that one from their senior captain, Josh Bowman. As we move over into the 4th face-off of the day, of the game.
4th face-off, excluding the beginning face-off, of course. However, false start for them, and it appears that it will be... They'll face it off again, I believe, CJ.
Yes, I'm not quite sure what happened there. Looked like somebody might have had a twitch, early movement in that face-off. They're just doing it again.
And Shevelson tries to make it, but just starts a bit too early. Hunter Kirby just being patient, and now it'll be the Wildcats back with possession. It'll be passed around. And one thing that we've seen a lot from this Chapman defense in previous practices and in this game is just playing zone defense, allowing them to sit back and just run into space, not allowing them to really take advantage. Of course, the Wildcats have taken advantage of their space around the crease so far with those 2 goals, both from Hinden and from Kraft. But now it'll be the Wildcats who try to get their 3rd of the night. Spins, jump shot. Can he make it? No, just a bit far off. That'll be Logan Zopinski.
Right, like I said earlier, we know that the Arizona Wildcats are comfortable taking those shots from 12, 15 yards back, 15 yards back. That was no different. Took a wide shot, tried to get it in for Schugert, but did not work out for him that time.
As the ball goes out of bounds, it'll be a Chapman ball. And now with a little bit under 3 minutes remaining on the clock, 2 minutes and 18 seconds in this first quarter of action. It's all tied up at 2. It was Ursino who got the game underway initially. And then my captain, Josh Volman, to secure the 2nd for the Chapman Panthers.
Over to 0 Holden Walker. They're slowing it down a little bit and getting into the gameplay. I think this is what Cal's was talking about whenever he wanted them to play it loose. There are expectations. And there we go. Score by number 44 on the Chapman side. We are now up 3-2. That was Dante DeColobus. Fantastic goal from him. That was his, I believe, 13th goal of the season.
13th of the goal indeed. And what a shot by him. Nothing that Aiden Schuyler could do on that one. He stretched it out to the best of his abilities, but when you have a player as agile as Dante DeColobus, one of the styles that really makes him stand out on offense is just that elusiveness that he has. As you mentioned, this is 13th goal.
Yes, 2024 second team all-conference attack. He was a 2023 freshman of the year, honorable mention all-conference midfield, and a scholar athlete. So really, number 44, Dante DeColobus, doing amazing things on and off the field.
No doubt, as Shevelson is able to get the face-off. Of course, a nickname for Cody Shevelson, number 7 for the Chapman Panthers. Crazy Cody in practice. Few nicknames for these players, of course. In the stands, captain number 22, Jack Worth, the pride of Boulder, Colorado. You have Tyler Pandis with Panda. And now it'll be back to Josh Volmond.
Chapman Panthers still deciding to take it loose, play it cool, not get too jumpy here, which I think is crucial for them. As we know, sometimes they tend to crumble under pressure. So just trying to keep it chill and clean is really the goal here for the first half.
No doubt, as Chapman still has the ball. Shots taken and appeared to be saved. I believe from Skylar, Josh Volmond tried to get his brace in the game, but to no avail. A little bit under a minute, 53 seconds remaining on the clock here in the first quarter of action. It'll be back to McDonald. Now Rocco Reginelli, another nickname that these players have for their teammates. It'll be back to Reginelli. 40 seconds remaining on the clock in this first quarter of action. And it appears Reginelli will just drive the game out. So if you're Coach Callis, not really wanting to rush anything, 26 seconds remaining and 48 on the shot clock, so they can just time it out if they like, but they try to take the shot. Shot's taken! And at the end of the first quarter, Luke Morissette, top right corner. What do you got? That's what you got, Luke Morissette.
That was phenomenal from our senior. He was injured earlier this season, had to take a week or so off due to a shoulder injury, but now he's back better than ever, taking shots every opportunity he can, and that was a phenomenal top right corner. Absolutely nothing our freshman from Arizona in goal could do. Our freshman Aiden Schuyler seeming a little disappointing after that. The score now sits at 4-2, Chapman to Arizona, as we go into the last 20 seconds of this first quarter.
If you're Coach Callis, you are absolutely over the moon with that goal. CJ just establishing dominance over the Wildcats. You could say it's been a bit of a cat fight, Panthers v. Wildcats, but now the Chapman Panthers, with around 10 seconds remaining, will just want to close this quarter up as he has some space, but he is tipped. It appears it was Anthony Mills, yes, Anthony Mills, the freshman goalie, and Cody Shevelson on defense. Not too often do you see a face-off get down and dirty with the defenders, but very well done from him. Now it'll be the Wildcats on the crease, plays it in. Can he make the shot count? No, he can't. It'll be out. And that will conclude the first quarter of action. And quite an offensive display from either side. Chapman Panthers currently hold the lead 4-2. A lot of action from the Chapman Panthers, but you have to say they were absolutely electric. Lots of goals for this side. What did you see in that first quarter, CJ?
Yeah, of course, Lucas. We saw some phenomenal attacking offensive plays from both sides. Teams are really looking for those shots. They have some high numbers up there, but both goalies doing phenomenal against these offensive players. Really, both Aiden Schuyler as well as Ryan Sugart being absolute demons in the net, stopping those hard shots. And we can see a few of them being let up by our freshman goalies. The team's getting really excited, and it's looking good. Lucas, what do you think?
Well, when you look at some of these replays, the goals that have been scored have been absolutely phenomenal. Of course, there you see Dante DeColobus. He was absolutely amazing. One of those shifty players, as I mentioned beforehand. He's just quick feet, but alongside the goal with Luke Morissette, that final goal for the Chapman Panthers that really established their dominance in that first quarter. Currently, as it stands, Chapman with 4, University of Arizona with 2.
Yes, of course. Like Coach Callis told us earlier this week, he said that when a goal gets let up at the end of a quarter or a half, it's really hard for the team to come back from that, even if they have a lead. So it was crucial for the Panthers to keep their lead, not let a goal up in those last few minutes of the first quarter, and it worked out swimmingly. We'll see how the second quarter goes.
Swimmingly indeed. Now we'll go down to the field, not the court, as we begin the second quarter of action. Little bit of music here at Wilson Field. You love to hear it, bringing up the energy. When you have two teams playing in such warm temperatures, you love to keep them cool some way or another, CJ. And apart from water, the vibes of music always helps.
Yes, of course, Lucas, I agree. Earlier, while they were warming up, both teams had some rap music bumping, kept us entertained up here in the booth. Exciting to hear. I bet those guys were getting fired up as they were listening to that music. And now we got Holla Back Girl by Gwen Stefani playing. There we go. That's going to get these boys riled up, I bet. Holla back.
No doubt, CJ, as the face-offs get ready to get the game back underway in this second quarter of action. It'll be Crazy Cody and Hunter Kirby to get the game back underway. Of course, that strategy of 2 LSMs in for the defense, as you can see it right there. Wilkinson in the game, but the Wildcats able to recover, and now they'll just take it back. But the Chapman Panthers seem to be riding the offense pretty aggressively here. But the Wildcats just able to deal with the pressure. Now it'll be Wilkinson helping out the defense for these Chapman Panthers. It'll be back to Sobinski. Senior midfielder for this side. 7 goals so far in the season. 21 ground balls and 5 assists. And that's one thing that you're seeing from this team, CJ, in comparison to the Chapman Panthers, is that they have more of a diverse spread of players who can score goals and get assists. When you look at the Chapman Panthers, typically you see Russell Wilkinson with a lot of ground balls, and then some of the captains like Ursino, Morset, and Bowman with a lot of goals. Of course, Bowman leading the team. But that one of the issues with the offense is they need to distribute it a bit more. Luckily for Calais, they are in the lead as the Wildcats get the shot and get the third one of the night in. Nothing that Ryan Sugart could have done on that one. Blake Eklund, his 5th goal of the season and the 3rd for these Wildcats.
Yes, the junior Blake Eklund. That was a phenomenal shot right past Ryan Sugart's stick. Not really sure what happened there, but it looked like it was a good effort from our freshman goalie, but a phenomenal shot from the junior midfielder.
And these are the moments where the Chapman Panthers really need to watch out. We've seen it previously where they give up a goal and they just start to maybe point fingers, you could say, instead of rallying the team to come out and score. It's going to be interesting to see, of course, after a week of lots of different types of training. Of course, we attended some of those just to watch their strategies. It's going to be interesting to see if they elect to switch it up or how they're going to deal with that switch in momentum as the ball is tipped from the Wildcats and recovered by the Panthers.
Of course, we saw a lot of different practice strategy this week whenever we were watching them. Seemed like the team was very cohesive, very communicative. However, we've seen during some of these games that starts to falter. Like you said, Lucas, they start to point fingers rather than work together as a collective unit. However, Coach Callis said that they are working to rectify that. They are becoming more collaborative and more cohesive, and that seems to be working out thus far in this game. It's 4-3 Chapman to Arizona.
Now it'll be Bowman back on the attack for these Panthers side. DeColobis plays it back out to Worth, Pride of Boulder, Colorado, as I mentioned a bit beforehand. Now Morset takes it inside, back out to Captain Worth, and takes the shot, and it just far out to the right. But the Panthers will be able to recover. Rocco Reginelli in the backfield. Now Reginelli will take it in from the X. Plays it back out to the 25-yard line. And Worth, he has that physicality, one of the larger players on this Chapman side, 6'2", as Morset just tips the ball, not able to get it, but gets the ground ball and recovers. And alongside DeColobis, Morset is another one of those smaller players who's extremely quick, but jumps the crease and just gets the shot a little bit too far off to the left. It'll be a Wildcat ball after Skylar runs back to recover.
Good effort by Dante DeColobis to get possession. It's Arizona's now. I believe that's number 27 on Arizona. Jason Ward picking it up, the sophomore.
Jason Ward, 23 ground balls for him, so a pretty equal distribution of ground ball contributions from each defender for this Arizona side as the Wildcats get back on the attack. It'll be Kraft holding on to the ball. No need to rush, of course. Lawson, junior midfielder from San Francisco, currently holds 5 goals on the season. Garrett Lawson, now it'll be back to Peterson.
Of course, we might be able to attest some of the even distribution of these ground balls and goals to the absolute depth that is on the University of Arizona's team. They have a much bigger roster than Chapman. Oh, And a goal. I believe that was number 34 on University of Arizona. That was phenomenal. What do you think of that, Lucas?
Jack McKernan, high to low shot into the bottom left corner to tie the game up. And these are the moments where the Chapman Panthers need to really rally and get that energy, as we see on the replay. McKernan, just no time waste, high to low, beautiful shot into the bottom corner. No goalie saving that one, CJ.
No, Ryan Sugar had a great effort with that shot. However, it didn't seem like there was much to do. We saw Chapman huddle after that goal went up. We are now at a tied game. If I were them, if I were to bet, I would assume that they are feeling a little riled up, a little angry, and now they're just getting their strategy back into sorts for this second quarter.
Back underway and quickly recovered by Hunter Kirby on the faceoff, but Chapman Panthers really riding the defense good. But great agility from Skyler to just cope with the pressure of these Chapman Panthers offense riding them. And now it'll be their turn on offense.
Arizona slowing it down again, keeping possession, hoping for another opening to shoot.
Now it'll be back to Blake Elkland. No time wasted. Hinden now plays it in, still with possession of the ball, but knocks the stick out of his hand. And you don't see that every day, do you, CJ? Might not be a goal, but huge. And of course, that was one of the main defenders, Russell Wilkinson. The LSM absolutely catches one of the Wildcat players off guard. And I bet he's going to hate to see that in practice film, isn't he, CJ?
Yes, of course he is.
As the shot looks to be a quickly shoot, takes a shot at the near post. So quick, I can't even keep up.
Number 33, Adam McDonald, our key player. That was a phenomenal shot out of him. He looked and he saw his opening to shoot. Now, if we look at the replay, we see he looked for his opening. And right past our freshman goalie, Aiden Schuyler, into the middle of the net. Adam McDonald seeming fired up after that goal. That was his 14th of the season. Amazing effort. Now Aiden Schuyler gonna have to compose himself again. Get ready for the next face-off.
As the Chapman Panthers will just jump that one a bit. U of A with the ball now. And you love to see, especially for us up here in the booth who are broadcast students, you love to see players like Adam McDonald score. Both tremendous students and athletes.
Of course, multifaceted, multi-talented athletes. Adam McDonald so far been having a pretty solid sophomore season. And like we said earlier, Callis expects him to be a phenomenal leader and his gameplay to only get better from here.
No doubt. Callis will be looking to him in the upcoming seasons to be one of the captains. He's a sophomore, of course, but very consistent nonetheless. Now it'll be the Wildcats back on the attack. Switches it across the face of goal to McKernan. Takes the shot and just squeezes by the top right corner. Not McKernan, but Hinden, the junior midfielder from Maple Valley, Washington. That would have been his 18th goal of the season. He already has one in this game.
Yes, he does.
Now it'll be the Wildcats back underway. Orsino just trying to stick check him, not able to. Quick spin from Kraft. A crafty player nonetheless takes a jump shot and hits the post. What a goal that would have been, CJ. Carson Kraft getting crafty.
Heck yeah, Ryan Sugar, I bet he's blowing out a big breath of relief after that ball hit the pole. That was coming firing a missile into the goal if it were only a few mere inches further. A fantastic look.
No doubt it'll be U of A back on the attack. 9 minutes and 22 seconds remaining on the clock in this second quarter of action. And it has been back and forth for the majority of this game. Currently as it stands, Chapman Panthers with 5, U of A with 4. And it'll be U of A back on the attack. Plays it out to the crease. Can he make the shot? No, he can't. Ryan Sugar tips it and it ends up in the back. Not the back of the net as in the goal, but quite literally the back of the net.
Of course, resting on top of it, Ryan Sugar had to get his stick in there, really dig at it. It was a little stuck. Now we have possession over to Chapman Panthers. 31 Tyler Pandas.
No doubt, and now we see Orsino again with some space. We know what he can do. Long shots taken and jump shot, not able to get the better of Schuyler. But if you're the Wildcats, you cannot afford to allow such a talented player like Nico Orsino, number 17 for the Chapman Panthers, to get that space. And now it'll be a break for their own. University of Arizona on the attack. It'll be Eklund, plays it out. Sundling from Fishers, Indiana, just holding on to possession a little bit, ticking down to around the 8-minute mark here in the second quarter action at Wilson Field.
These players tend to slow it down whenever they feel they need an opening, or maybe it's just getting a little too hot. Now it's speeding up. Oh, shot and goal. Was that number 7, Lucas?
Of course it was, CJ. And Carson Kraft, his second goal of the afternoon, and that being his 27th.
Yes, 27th of the season. Phenomenal numbers from the sophomore at Arizona. If we look at that replay, straight in, great shot. Ryan Sugar, a little frustrated. Nothing he can't come back from. Tied score at 5-5, and we're looking for another face-off between these two teams. Excuse me.
27th of the season for Carson Kraft, still holds second in the SLC, right behind the number 1 scorer from San Diego State, Luke Schneider, who currently has 34 goals. Of course, the senior game for the Chapman Panthers will be against San Diego State. That game upcoming in a few weeks, which will also be broadcasted here on YouTube via CSBN. But now it'll be the Chapman Panthers to return to the game, back on the attack. Currently, as it stands, Chapman Panthers with 5. University of Arizona with 5. It'll be back on the attack for the Chapman Panthers. Cutler now, one of the younger players for this offense, and number 12 for the Chapman Panthers. He's one of the few freshmen to break into this offense. He's been playing lacrosse since he was 8, so I'm sure this is a dream come true for him as the Chapman Panthers try to jump the crease, but saved by Skyler. Elijah Bruggeman, the senior midfielder. It was all freshman in 2022. Tried to get his 3rd goal this season, but to no avail, and still holds it at 2. And the Chapman Panthers still not able to break. Aiden Skyler on that one. And now a quick break for the Wildcats. All by himself, jumps the crease, but save! Sugar calls for the crease violation, and it will be a crease violation. Pretty obvious one. We can see that up here in the booth. Gunnar Hinden just allowing his momentum to drag him inside the crease, hence the violation. And now the Chapman Panthers just looking to slow it down. So CJ, in the first almost 20 minutes of this game, you really couldn't call it like one team or another. It's truly been back and forth.
Absolutely. It has been back and forth between these two teams. Like we said at the beginning, they are battling for those playoff spots. So every goal, every second matters. And that's why these teams are going back and forth scoring. Phenomenal gameplay for both the Wildcats as well as the Panthers, tied up with 6 minutes left in the first half.
No doubt, CJ. As the game will be back underway, now we see Worth and Morset. The duo of death, some would say, for these Chapman Panther. Both seniors, both captains, and both absolute machines when it comes to lacrosse.
Absolutely.
That'll be Morset taking it by himself, using that speed of his to the best of his ability. Fumbles it, Rocco Reginelli, but recovered excellently by Morset. Now played out again. DeColabis plays it to Vomand. And Bowman with some space takes the shot and puts the Chapman Panthers into the lead.
There we go, right at the end. That's exactly what we want from these Chapman Panthers, just to keep going back and forth with these goals, but keeping the leg up on the Arizona Wildcats. That was a phenomenal goal from Josh Vomand, his 2nd of the game.
No.
Oh, wait, the 3rd. 3rd of the game?
I believe it was the 2nd for Josh Vomand, but nonetheless, Chapman Panthers in the lead now. 5 minutes and 33 seconds remaining on the clock, and that his 20th goal of the season. Of course, if it is 2 goals for the game, Josh Vomand with 20 now.
It's a little hard for us up in the booth. Lucas and I can't see the live stats, but we know that it's a phenomenal game of lacrosse being played right now.
Overall in SLC, that bumps him up from 9th position to tied at 7th. Tied with Marshall Moore, the junior attackman from Grand Canyon University. Now it'll be the Panthers back on the attack. DeColabis uses some great speed, shrugs his player off, goes around another one. just slows it down to Kolbis, playing it out. Very well held on to. A bit of a high pass on that one. Patrick Sabri using some of his athleticism back to Sabri now. And Patrick Sabri with the ball. Goes around his defender. Plays it out to the far side. Takes the long shot. Just goes out from the right side. And it'll be a Chapman Panther ball after DeColbis was in the backfield waiting. Now it'll be back to DeColbis, who takes it in, plays it around, tries to find Reginelli, but to no avail. Chapman Panther still with the ball. A bit of a scramble, recovered by the Wildcats. Some physicality, but ground ball was recovered excellently. And now a quick break for the Wildcats. Garrett Landmark, senior midfielder, was able to recover the ground ball. That is his 6th ground ball of the season. And now the Wildcats will just slow it down. Tyler Pandis in front, just trying to lock him up, gets spun around a bit, takes the long shot. And quite an easy save for Ryan Shugart on that one. Of course, Ryan Shugart, this goalie, we've mentioned him previously in the broadcast, and we'll keep on mentioning him, CJ. An absolute standout, first in SLC, and fourth in all of MCLA, as Wilkinson tries to recover the LSM. And now a quick hit check from Orsino, just can't get enough of him. As an offside is called. As you heard from the announcer, Chaptown defense working hard.
Absolutely. He's calling it live out in the stadium here at Wilson for all the fans to hear.
And it'll be back to Reginelli on the far side of the field. Worth, more set.
Chapman Panthers slowing it down for the last 3 minutes here. They want to get another shot just to open up the difference between their scores yet again. You want to have 2 rather than 1.
And now played into the box for Rocco Reginelli, and he gets it.
That was awesome. We see some excitement from them.
Rocco Reginelli with the huge goal. That his 13th of the season. As Coach Callis mentioned previously, the engine that keeps us running. And look at that excitement from him down there on the field. Look at the replay right here. An absolute missile to the far post. Nothing that Skyler could have done. And now the Chapman Panthers starting to get a bit more comfortable. Chapman with 7, Arizona with 5.
Yes, you could see freshman Aiden Schuyler in the net. He went all for it, hit the floor for that shot. Didn't work out for him. Making the scores Chapman 7, Arizona 5.
Ball recovered quickly by the Chapman Panther. Shots taking, and it's blocked by one of the Arizona defenders, but recovered by Reginelli. Very well done. Great awareness from him to just pick it out of the sky. And now it'll be the Panthers just slowing it down. No need to rush, of course. A little bit under 2 minutes remaining on the clock. Luke Morissette now back in the game. Of course, senior captain, as the announcer had just previously mentioned. It'll be to Vomond, looking to get that hat trick, that 3rd goal in the game that would push him to 21. Morissette with a jump long shot, and it's saved. Almost looked like a soccer save on that one. Aiden Schuyler, an absolutely diving save, but now Rocco Reginelli back with the ball. DeColobus plays it to Worth, and Worth takes it inside and shot again! 3 goals in quick succession for these Chapman Panthers, and this time it's the pride of Boulder, Colorado, Jack Worth.
Our senior, phenomenal. Look at that celebration from them. They're so excited to see that. We got some chest bumps going on. If we look at the replay, beautiful shot and goal.
Beautiful from Jack Worth. Double deuces, as the announcer next to us mentioned, CJ. And now the Chapman Panthers in quick succession extending their lead to 8. It feels like just a minute ago we talked about them only leading by 1, but now Chapman Panthers with 8. University of Arizona with 2. And now it'll be a quick break. Rocco Reginelli trying to recover the ball. Wilkinson just kicking it. The LSM trying to get something. His triple team and not knocked to the ground, but no flag. As the ball is cleared out, and a lot of space for the Wildcats on this one. Only 3 defenders, 4 defenders now back for the Chapman Panthers. Long shots taken and just not able to get it through. Past the top left corner and out. Bit of a miscommunication from the Chapman Panthers, but luckily, they don't need to suffer the consequences as the Wildcats will be back on the attack. Messer. Now it'll be Sundling playing it around. Zopinski has Anthony Mills in front of him. Zopinski takes it in, plays it out. Back in front of the face goal. Shots taken to the near post and in again. That is Carson Kraft, his third of the night. The beautiful hat trick for the sophomore attackman. And there is no stopping him. That is 28th goal of the season.
Of course, that still keeps him at number 2 in the SLC, still behind the San Diego player with 34. He's got a few more to chip away to take that number 1 spot, but that was a phenomenal hat trick in this first half.
And these are the moments where the Chapman Panthers really need to rally and just lock them down. 1 minute and 33 seconds remaining on the clock. And if you're Coach Callis, you're telling your team to get the ball and slow it down. No need to rush, of course, 2-point lead. And now it'll be a false start from Cody Shevelson, and it'll be an Arizona ball in this a dangerous area if you're Coach Callis.
Of course, you want to have possession ending this half to make sure that you're not getting another goal scored on you right at the end. However, looks like these Arizona Wildcats are looking to slow it down, looking for their opening, and the Panthers just have to hold on and keep their defense up like a wall.
Like a wall indeed, CJ. Perfect analogy. If you're a defender on this Chapman team just wanting to lock out anything that the Arizona Wildcats throw at you. So far, they haven't been able to. 55 seconds remaining on the clock. Played out to the X. Carson Kraft now plays it to the middle, takes the low shot, and it's in! Slow shot, but got the better of Ryan Shugart, and the Chapman defense falling apart. That was number 34 for this Chapman side, Jack McKernan, the Cave Creek native from Arizona. That is his 5th goal of the season. And now the Chapman Panthers start fumbling. Excuse me, I believe it was Carson Kraft who made the assist. So not only can he score, but he can also distribute, as we see on the replay. A bit of frustrations for Ryan Shugart, of course. But this is the scenario where the Chapman Panthers didn't want to be. And now with 45 seconds remaining on the clock, Chapman Panthers with some work to do, but still holding the lead 8-7.
Of course, the last worst case scenario is that Arizona gets another goal to even it up going into halftime. But it looks like these Chapman Panthers can keep them out of the goal for the last 30 seconds of this first half.
No doubt, Chapman just looking to hold on to it. You can feel the tension rising with 20 seconds remaining on the clock as the ball goes out of bounds. If you're the Chapman Panthers with Coach Callis, just really wanting to slow the game down, not let anything boil over. Of course, it is hot out there on the turf. Under 20 seconds remaining on the clock.
Now the Chapman Panthers really want to slow it down here. Oh.
And Morset with a quick break, plays out to Reginelli, back into the crease. Can he make it count? And he can't. McDonald not able to. 2 seconds remaining on the clock, and that will conclude this first half of action.
Chapman 8, Arizona 7, it's halftime.
That was awesome first half from the Panthers as well as the Wildcats. Phenomenal first little half of this. You know, we got some great players out there, people making moves, doing some phenomenal things. Lucas, what is one player that you want to heat check, you want to highlight from this first half of the game?
Well, if you're asking me, it has to be Carson Kraft. He has been absolutely flying so far for this Wildcats offense. 3 goals and 1 assist, and it's that elusiveness that he has, similar to number 44, Dante DeColobis. He's just so quick with his feet, and seemingly none of the Chapman Panthers have been able to deal with him.
Of course, on my side, I would have to say number 21, Josh Bowman for the Chapman Panthers, really is making his mark this game. 2 goals thus far, continuing to lead the Chapman Panthers in goals. He's been an absolute powerhouse on the field, nothing to discount. However, I think Alex down on sidelines might have a different perspective for us, as she has the live stats and we do not. I want to hear from Alex down there on the field. Alex, what do you have from us? Who's your heat check player?
Thank you, CJ. Now, for me, it has got to be number 21 on Arizona's team, Loudenridge Sundling. Although he's not on the score sheet, he has been an absolute facilitator of the midfield so far. He's expressed some incredible physicality throughout this game, has really been keeping it locked down for Arizona. Now, if you're looking for a bit of an X-Factor player, someone who's heating up in the second quarter, turn your attention to number 4 on Chapman's side, Anthony Mills, a traditional deep-hole defender. But today, he has been tasked with the job of the second LSM for Chapman, and he has adapted very well to this role. He's been responsible for several turnovers from Arizona already and has been incredibly quick on ground ball recovery. So definitely someone to keep your eye on for the rest of this game. Lucas, CJ, back up to you.
Thank you so much, Alex. And now that we have it here, CJ, I mean, such a close game. It was the Chapman Panthers who extended the lead to 8-5, but just gave up a few lazy goals. And if you're Coach Callis, what are you thinking about that one?
Of course, Coach Callis told us earlier this week that he really hates to see goals being let up at the end of the half. Like we've mentioned before, the team gets the pressure on them, they don't deal with it very well, and they start to fumble. However, I think that was a great first half. I'm excited to see the second one. What do you think, Lucas?
Well, with all that said and done, a lot of goals scored in this first half of action. 8 for the Chapman Panthers, 7 for the Arizona Wildcats. And stay tuned here on CSBN. So much more left to go, and we'll be right back after the short break. And welcome back to Wilson Field. If you're just checking into the game, my name is Lucas Patton, accompanied by my partner in crime, CJ Smith. And CJ, in this game, it's been very high scoring, but currently as it stands, Chapman with a 1-point lead, 8-7. What have you seen so far?
Heck yeah, we've seen a lot of aggression from both of these teams, trying to make every single shot count, land the ball into the net, and both of our freshman goalies on each side are doing phenomenal. Let's take a look at the game, Lucas.
No doubt, as the game is back underway, it'll be the Chapman Panthers who hold on to possession to start this game off. And in the end of the second quarter, we saw the Chapman Panthers take a rather exponential lead, 8-5, but just gave up a few lazy goals as Volman is on the attack again and saved by Skyler, trying to recover the ball right on the crease, but it's recovered by the goalie. So a quick scare for Aiden Skyler on that one, but luckily able to hold on to that one as the Wildcats are now on the attack.
Absolutely, they rely on their goalies. Oh, and a goal! That was number 11, I believe, from Arizona. A phenomenal look from him. Lucas, what did you think of that goal?
Goal for Ethan Messer. Excuse me for the little audio crack up on that one. However, first goal for him, both him Interesting story. And Nick Parker attended the same school, San Clemente High. As we see the goal now, an absolute missile, and that was the goal that tied it all up at 8. No time wasted for these Wildcats, and it's all tied up. Chapman with 8 and Arizona with 8.
Of course, if you're Callis and the Chapman Panthers, you are feeling probably a little bit frustrated after losing an 8-5 lead. Previous to that lead, they were back and forth, and then they had a bit of a breakaway with 3 points ahead. Now tied up again.
And now a quick break to Colobus. Had some space. The faceoff was won by the Chapman Panthers, and it was Ryan Beach, surprisingly, who was able to get the offensive drive started. As we see Beach run off, substitute out Patrick Sabri back in the game. It'll be now Patrick Sabri has the defender in front, but cuts it inside, played out to Bruggeman. Bruggeman has some extremely high pressure on him, but no doubt plays it out to the X, to DeColobus. DeColobus just runs into his defender on that one. McDonald active Sabri. And Sabri with the low to high shot, but it's saved. A deflection, excuse me, by one of the Wildcat defenders, but the Chapman Panthers able to hold on. Now it'll be Bruggeman. Holden Walker in for the Chapman Panthers. Shots taken and just a little bit off. So a few early scares for Aiden Schuyler, but the Wildcats were able to take advantage of that one opportunity they has. As the Chapman Panthers are back on it to Colbus. Shot a little bit too close to the near post, and it'll stay a Chapman ball.
Absolutely. Our freshman Aiden Schuyler doing well with the pressure.
It'll be back to the Chapman Panthers. Holden Walker takes it inside, passes it around, gets knocked up and knocked from the back. That'll be a stoppage. Looked like a huge hit, it appeared. It was against Holden Walker.
Number 34, Patrick Sabri, went down.
Now Walker will get the game back underway. Plays it out to DeColobus. So we saw him a lot, in those first few minutes, both in the first and second half from Dante DeColobus, number 44 for the Chapman Panthers. But apart from that, he's really slowed down a bit. Of course, he is very elusive. We've mentioned this time and time again. But just needs to use that elusiveness to get the Chapman Panthers back in the lead. Currently, as it stands, all tied up at 8. Plays it out to the X. Back to Holden Walker. Has some pressure in front. Reginelli at the X. Takes the long shot and off the post and out. It was tipped, and you could hear the contact on that one from Holden Walker. But no flag is thrown. And it'll stay a Chapman ball, or excuse me, a Wildcat ball.
Absolutely, that shot was crazy, bounced off the bottom onto the top, ball almost went in, but fortunately for Aiden Schuyler and the rest of the Arizona Wildcats, it did not go in, and now possession is in their hands.
Now we'll see defenders. Anthony Mills brought back on, one of the freshman defensive players for this Chapman roster. Of course, it was a big group of defenders simply because of the large graduation of the majority of the Chapman defenders last season. Him alongside the likes of Ben Bauman, Evan Valancourt, and Cooper Warner. A lot of younger defenders who were brought in this year to try to make up for that young defense. And one of the reasons as to why Chapman might be having a difficult season, CJ, is because of how well scouted their offense is. Of course, the grand majority of them, Worth, Vomand, Luke Morset, all of those players are seniors, so they've had time to be scouted by other teams in comparison to their young defense. So when playing against the Panthers, most teams know or have an idea how to deal with the offense. And the defense is not with that much experience, which is why it's been a relatively tough season. But nonetheless, the game is still tied at 8 as the Wildcats get the ball and try to make something on offense. A little bit under 11 minutes remaining in this third quarter of action as the shot's taken and just a little bit too far off to the right of Ryan Shugart.
Absolutely. Something that Callis mentioned to us, like we previously mentioned with the defensive line graduating, he lost players such as Troy Kennedy, Anderson McDonald, Charlie Beasley. Now, the only returners on our defensive side are Shandon and Nico Ursino. Oh, Shandon Hanamoto, and Nico Ursino. Both leaders on the defensive side. However, difficult to create the cohesion and team that you need whenever you're playing on a defensive side, but that will only come with time, and it seems like it's still looking up towards the back end of the season.
No doubt. Now we see Chapman Panthers back on the attack. of course, is Vomand. One interesting thing about this one, the main defender for the Chapman Panthers in this game has been Nico Orsino. Although he's playing with a short stick at SSDM, defensively he has been very good. Typically he plays more offensively, although he's a defensive midfielder. He's been doing very well as Morset plays it out to the X to Reginelli. Tries to play back in, but it's tipped by the defender. The Panthers and the Wildcats just waiting eagerly across the 50-yard line, but it's the Panthers who are able to recover and bring it back on attack. Vomand recovering the ground ball. It'll be Morset.
We see time and time again how valuable these ground balls are in getting possession.
And just a little bit too far off to the right of Aiden Schuyler on that one. Still not able to break the 8-8 tie. It'll be Chapman back underway with the ball. DeColobus with some quick work. Tries to jump the crease and just far off.
Absolutely. We still see the aggression, the passion from both of these teams trying to get a leg up. Oh, it goes out. There we go. Both of these teams trying so hard to get another goal in the net. Lucas?
Rocco Reginelli just stripping the ball from that one, able to recover it for the Chapman Panthers. And we've seen that a lot throughout this game. Offensive players stripping the ball. Of course, first we saw it with Russell Wilkinson in that first half of action. Now we saw it with Reginelli. It'll be Morset with the ball now, spinning and weaving, trying to get some space. Plays it out all by himself. McDonald just far off to the right. We've seen a lot of those spin shot moments in this game. Just getting the ball, spinning your body and trying to make the shot off, but to no avail. Now it'll be Dante DeColobus. Vomand almost picked up, but to no avail. Worth just fumbles that one and allows the ball to go out of bounds for a Wildcat possession. It'll be shot all the way up the field, and now a quick break for these Wildcats.
Oh, Anthony Mills. Beautiful. The freshman.
It's a blessing and a curse to have so many young defenders on this team, CJ. As you just mentioned, Anthony Mills, although he is a freshman, the amount of experience that he's gotten from this season alone will be a huge reason as to why he'll be great throughout the upcoming seasons. Sophomore, junior season for this young defensive group will be great as the save is made by Shugart. That's the area that the Chapman Panthers want these Wildcats shooting from. The 20-25 yard line is Ryan Sugart's sweet zone. And he saves it and keeps it at 8-8 as Orsino has some space. Just elects to slow it down. Finds Reginelli on the 20. Just waits for his teammates to come up the field. Bruggeman. Holden Walker now. We saw him with that big hit earlier in the game, but luckily able to keep on playing. It'll be Bruggeman. Back to Walker. Played out to Sabri. And Sabri takes it in, plays it out to DeColobus. Plays it back out to Walker, who takes it inside. Back out to DeColobus, and can he get the shot off? Winds up, shot is saved.
What a beautiful shot.
Wound up for it seemed like so many seconds on that one. Tried building up his momentum, but just saved by Aiden Schuyler on that one. And the ball is picked off quickly by the Chapman Panthers. McDonald tries to recover, not able to, get stripped up. No flag from the referees, but recovered excellently by Panda. Tyler Panda specifically, number 31 for the Chapman Panthers. And it'll be a Chapman ball now. Orsino gets double teamed, but is able to play it around.
Both of these teams still looking for an opportunity to shoot and score. Tied up. Only one goal in this third quarter.
One goal indeed. It has been a quiet quarter, but it has surely been back and forth. Both goalies, Schuyler and Shugart, have been getting so many reps, and both freshmen too.
You have to commend all of these players because, as we said earlier, the pressure sometimes get to be a little bit too much. So you really have to respect these players for keeping it slow. And there we go. A goal by Jack Worth. Beautiful shot, beautiful goal. Let's take a look at that, Lucas, on the replay.
Double deuce for 22 for the Chapman Panthers. 2 goals. Second goal of the afternoon, as the announcer said. That is 16th goal of the season. Looking at the statistics in Skyac. 16 goals for him already. As we saw in the replay, an absolute missile. He uses all that strength that he has to be able to score to the best of his abilities. We know he's an absolute machine when it comes to offense, and now with 18 goals on the season, that ties him up at 8th with Greer Lienhouts, the San Diego State junior attackman. And now it'll be possession for the Arizona Wildcats.
Check it in 1, check it in 9, Lawson, Peterson, check it in 34.
McKernan back in the game for these Wildcats. Trying to ride him aggressively, but still to no avail. Chapman Panthers just holding on. Long shots taken, but it's blocked by Anthony Mills. The freshman deep pull, and Ursino recovers. And Ursino still taking it around 2. Able to stay in bounds. Ursino still going. Can he take it all the way? Nico Ursino just wide. What a goal that would have been, CJ.
That would have been amazing. Like we said earlier, that's his athleticism bleeding through during this game. He has wheels on him, doesn't he, Lucas? He can move from one end of the field to the other in a matter of seconds. That was phenomenal.
And we see him play like his former self, like the midfield player that he is, although he's in defense for this game. Just taking it all the way up the field and almost scoring again. That would have been his second of the night. A lot of Chapman players with double goals. Now it would be Morset. Plays it into the crease. Can he make it count? Yes, he can. Dante DeColobis puts the Chapman Panthers up to the lead, and they leap into the sky.
That was amazing. Beautiful by Dante DeColobis. He might be feeling excited.
And Dante DeColobis, the second of the goal for him. Second of the night, of course. And Chapman now with 10. Breaking into the double-digit mark. It'll be Ryan Beach on the face-off.
A little bit of a change in face-off, taking Cody Shevelson out. One can only assume that that's just a strategy from Callis. Try to keep this game moving along, keep possession.
No doubt. We knew that he was switching stuff up in this game from the pre-game interview that we had with him. As the referee will give the ball to Wildcat possession. Chapman Panthers is dropping back, getting into their defensive positions. Lucas Losi now coming in. SSDM. Typically Losi is that secondary player who comes in, whether it be substituting out Orsino at SSDM or sometimes even Wilkinson whenever they need one of those short, quick players like the typical SSDM is. But with all that said, it'll be the Wildcats who still hold on to possession. A little bit under 5 minutes remaining in this third quarter of action. And as it stands, Chapman 10, Wildcats with 8. But the Arizona team looking to change that as Shugart makes the low save.
Shugart having another phenomenal game. The freshman really stepping up into this role. Great save. Can only expect more to come.
As Kraft tries to go around him, he's a crafty player.
Chapman, possession. Not really quite sure what happened there. But it's going to be number 17, Nico Ursino, picking it up.
No doubt. We see down there Ursino with Pandis in the backfield around Shugart, and now Ursino has some space. He loves to just get in that space in between the 50 and 40-yard line. Seemingly that's been his engine room in this game. He's truly been controlling this midfield, although he is playing as a defender. Now it'll be back to Vomand. We've seen a lot from him tonight. This one of his better games throughout the season. And Morset takes it in. Long shots taken by Morset. Jump in, it's in! That's the 11th goal of the night. Captain, my captain, Luke Morset. High to low jump shot. Absolutely beautiful, CJ.
That was phenomenal. The senior computer science major from Portland, Oregon. That was beautiful. Again, we said he was injured a little bit earlier in the season, but he still continues to make quite the comeback, and he's celebrating with his teammates after a phenomenal goal that he just had. That was great.
Him and Dante have been absolutely on fire, and now something that's a bit new to this Chapman side. The offense really putting the pedal to the metal in this third quarter of action. As it stands, Chapman 11, Arizona 8.
We have number 7, Cody Shevelson, back in for the face-off. Not sure what's going on with that. Number 3, Ryan Beach, was the last face-off specialist in the game.
Now it'll be DeColobus back on the attack at the 10-yard line. Just goes towards the back of the net, turns around and finds Morset. Now it'll be Vomond. Ticking down to around 3 minutes remaining on the clock. It'll be Reginelli. Back out to Worth, finds Morset. Bit of a short ball on that one, but able to hold on to it. Morset with some space, takes another shot and just too far off to the right, takes a hit, tumbles. Able to get up. Bit of a scare for the Chapman Panthers whenever he hits the ground.
Absolutely. In moments like these, you really see the chemistry that comes through with the offensive side. They really have a groove together. They know where they're going to be. They know where they're going to pass, and they know when to take those shots and opportunities. That's something great that's happening on the offensive side, and we can only continue that the defensive side of the Chapman Panthers can get that cohesion and collaboration nailed down for the remainder of the season.
No doubt, CJ. We see Lawson now holding on to it, just waiting for his teammates to come back in. It'll be Kraft now in the backfield. Plays it out to Peterson. We've seen a lot from him tonight.
You would expect the Wildcats to want to shoot some more, pick up the difference between their goals. Looking like they're getting a little bit more aggressive out there.
Almost under 2 minutes remaining in this third quarter of action. And for this third quarter, it really has been the Chapman show. Started off slow after conceding a goal, but able to get a lot of goals. And now hold it at 11, but as the shot looks to be taken, whether it be saved or over, weren't able to tell. That's how quick of a shot it was, CJ, but still, it'll be the Wildcats who hold on to possession, playing it out from the backfield.
Absolutely. Less than 2 minutes left in the third quarter. They're really hoping to get at least one more goal in here to lessen the marginal gap between the two. They can only hope. It's looking like they're doing just fine. Lucas?
No doubt, CJ. Now it'll be McKernan. Playing it around. Jack McKernan plays it out to the X, to his teammate, his partner in crime, Kraft. Has 2 players on him defensively. Plays it back up. McKernan just waiting for his teammate. 39 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Plays it around, still with the ball. Plays it out, shots taken, and it is saved. Ryan Sugar with the save. Ethan Messer. 13 goals in the season. Although playing at University of Arizona. Attended San Clemente High School and is from Ladera Ranch. Love to see some Southern California players who went out of state returning to the Southern California. As the shot's taken, it's saved by Ryan Sugar. Ground ball tries to be recovered by Pandis. And Pandis just knocking it out. It'll be the Wildcats back with the ball. Now on the attack, shots taken, and it's in! 9th goal for this U of A side. And a huge goal from Jack McKernan. Gunnar Hinden, excuse me, his 2nd of the night. That is 18th. A lot of players on this team with 18 goals on the season, but Gunnar Hinden will be absolutely extremely happy with himself to start, as we see down there on the field. A bit of frustration from this Chapman side. However, you can't be too disappointed. And currently, as it's playing out, CJ, this seems to be going to a very close conclusion.
Absolutely. If the start of the game was any indication as how the rest of it was going to go, it has been back and forth between these two. Now, Chapman still has the 11-9 lead, and we can only hope that they'll hold on.
And a quick break from U of A. Shots taken, and it's in! Where did that come from, CJ?
Wow.
Ludenridge Sundling. Ethan Messer, not Ludenridge Sundling. The sophomore midfielder, his 14th goal of the season. We were just talking about him as well, CJ. Maybe you heard us down there on the field. That his first goal of the night. And now Arizona into the double digits and only 1 goal away from tying it up with 30 seconds remaining. Chapman 11, Arizona 10.
Unfortunately, this is exactly what Callis was worried about going into the end of a quarter. He says that Panthers sometimes start to snowball when things like this happen. We can only hope that they can either keep their lead or stop themselves from getting too deep in a rut.
No doubt, CJ, as both teams get ready to continue the final 20 seconds. It's been a recurring theme that we've seen in this game. Chapman Panthers will score, and then they'll allow U of A to come up. It'll be Holden Walker now. Patrick Sabri has some space, takes the long shot, and it's good by Patrick Sabri! A fan favorite, number 34, Patrick Sabri, the sophomore attackman, his 5th goal of the season. His first goal of the afternoon. 5th on the season, as you heard by the announcer right next to our booth. An absolute huge goal. And now with 4 seconds remaining, Chapman Panthers will go into the quarter break, leading by 2. As the face-off is up, it'll be Shovelson who's back out there. So a bit of a switch. Maybe something that Coach Callis is trying to implement, rotating Ryan Beach and Shovelson.
Ryan Beach is a freshman. Cody is only a sophomore. However, I appreciate that Callis is giving the freshman Ryan Beach a bit of a showing for this game.
No doubt, CJ, and after Shovelson recovers, he'll just grind the time out and finish off this 3rd quarter of action. So, CJ, in this 3rd quarter of action, of course, it was very similar to the 1st quarter of action that we saw, where the Chapman Panthers, of course, conceded one early, but came back very well to be able to score those 3-4 goals to get it up to 11. But Arizona right on their tail. If you're Coach Callis going into the 4th quarter, what are you looking for in your defense to be able to hold on?
Of course, like we've talked about, Coach Callis says that the defense is younger. They don't know the chemistry as well for each other. So all we can hope for is that they continue to be cohesive, be a unit, and sometimes stop those goals. We can see right now on the replay that sometimes it's just unavoidable, but the offense is holding on. The defense might have to adjust just to make it a little bit more even between these 2 different lines. We've seen some great goals, though, from both sides. Lucas?
No doubt, CJ, and so many fireworks. You have to be grateful for that 3rd quarter of action. Such a good display from both teams, but now if you're Coach Callis, are you wanting to really put those 2 LSMs back in on the faceoff to try to just crowd the box and not allow anything to get by? Or do you want your team to maybe play a little bit looser, start loosening it up? You are in the lead, but you want calm hands going into this 4th quarter. If you were Coach Callis, which one of those would you like? I think
it might be a little bit of both, Lucas. I think that the LSMs are a huge asset whenever it comes to defense, keeping those sliding offensive players from Arizona from making those big money moves. However, you also need to rely on your defense to play loose, just be comfortable in there, have no expectations, because we've seen in previous games and somewhat in this one, whenever the pressure starts to get on, the defense starts to falter, and then things tend to fall apart. So we can only hope for this last quarter of the game, the defense is together. Whatever Coach Callis decides to do with the LSM works, but either one, I think that these Panthers have a phenomenal shot at winning this game.
No doubt, CJ. Some great analysis right there from up here in the commentators booth. With all that said and done, we'll go down to the field for a final quarter of action here live on CSBN. And as we see on the bench, the players just really trying to put the nail to the coffin, figuring out their plans for what they're going to do. Really trying to figure out an ultimate game plan. And if you're Coach Callis and this defense, CJ, you're really wanting to focus up.
Absolutely. This last quarter of the game will be crucial. We've seen thus far in the season, sometimes the Chapman Panthers start to fall apart in the second half and primarily the 4th quarter. Notably, the Virginia Tech game, they kept the lead. They had a phenomenal lead. I believe it was 8-3 at half, and they ended up losing that game 13-2, something we did not expect to happen while it was going on. And we can only hope in this game that the Chapman Panthers continue to work together, take the pressure off of themselves, play loose, play strong, play determined, keep those shots going, and just keep it rolling for this last quarter, Lucas.
No doubt, CJ, as the 4th quarter has gotten underway. It'll be the Wildcats just holding on to it. Carson Kraft, the crafty attackman, as I mentioned a few times, he's had a phenomenal game so far. Already a hat trick for him And 1 assist pursuing that 4th goal.
Absolutely.
Just sizing up his man on that one. And now it appears to be a quick break. Zopinski playing it around. Plays it out to the X. Carson Kraft really tried to jump the crease. Tries to jump the crease, and he knocks it in to tie the game at 11. Not tie the game, excuse me. Chapman Panthers still in the lead nonetheless. But there has been no stopping Carson Kraft's 4th goal. Can you believe that, CJ? He has been absolutely flying.
That was amazing. His 4th goal. Beautiful by the sophomore Carson Kraft.
Carson Kraft has been absolutely flying, CJ. I mean, we knew coming into this game that he was going to be one of those electric players for this University of Arizona side. But we couldn't have asked for a better display than this, and we truly couldn't have asked for as close of a game as this. Currently as it stands, Chapman with 12, Arizona 11.
Absolutely incredibly exciting for both teams, continuing to battle it out just like they did at the beginning.
And now it'll be a quick break. Somehow able to recover it, but the Chapman Panthers holding on to it. The referee will call a stoppage. As it appears, Ryan Beach picked up an injury. Luckily, he's able to get off the field and substitute out for, it appears, Jack Worth, one of the captains for this team.
Number 3 making his way off, looking okay though, and we got Jack Worth in his place. Not a bad replacement.
No doubt. If there's someone you want coming in at a difficult time, it's that captain, Jack Worth. 6'2", is an absolute machine for this team. One of the most physical players that the Chapman Panthers have to offer. And in such a close game like this, you're always going to want someone who has that grittiness that he has to offer, as the Chapman Panthers will be back on the attack. It'll be more set now. He's had quite the game, of course, but still with the ball. Plays in, long shots taken, and they extend the lead again. This offense has not taken the pedal off the metal. Jack Worth, he just came in, and now he extends their lead to 13.
Wow, phenomenal from our senior captain, Jack Worth. Great shot from him. Arizona might be getting into a bit of a rut. And the Chapman bench, you can see the energy, Lucas. You can see them down there. They're getting riled up. They're excited to go with this timeout. I believe that was Arizona's timeout. Now we got a little bit of a break for all of these boys to be a little bit more riled up, excited for the last 13 minutes of this close game.
And if you're the Chapman Panthers, CJ, you don't want to be too physical, of course, but maybe you want to start pushing some of your guys around, getting them hyped up. 13 minutes remaining on the clock, and you're only leading by 2 goals. This is typically where you see the Chapman Panthers falter, of course, in previous games. Of course, Cal Poly, their first home opener in the Virginia Tech game, it happened. And when you're this close of a game, you really need to just bring the energy to the stadium. Make sure the fans know it. Make sure your team knows it. And I'm sure Coach Callis will be planning to execute that.
Of course, Coach Callis told us earlier in the week that players have huge energy, and it is a big contribution to how they're playing on the field. Callis told us that when the bench is feeling, low and quiet and not very riled up, it reflects on the field. The players get a little bit sloppy, a little bit messy. They miss some ground balls, maybe miss some passes. But whenever they are doing well like this and the energy is high, the guys are excited, jumping around, that means that they will continue to show that on the field, have that energy, have that passion, have that excitement for the game that they've been playing for so long.
No doubt. You have to say, if you're some of the captains of this team, Josh Vomand, Jack Worth, 2 absolute pillars of players for this Chapman side, and hopefully they'll be able to continue that performance.
Again, I think something really important to consider is how close this team is, and that's why they feed off their energy so much. They are a close-knit community on Chapman's campus, and it reflects on the field.
Of course, the lacrosse team here at Chapman, being the highest level of sports that the college has to offer, Club Division I in comparison to the rest of our sports, which are competing in the SCIAC, which is Division III NCAA. And now it'll be the Chapman Panthers who are back on the attack. Luke Morset, one of the offensive captains, back on it. He's been electric in this game, CJ.
Absolutely. All of these Chapman Panthers looking to get another goal, keeping the ball calm and controlled, which is what Calais needs in this fourth quarter.
No doubt, if you're the Chapman Panthers, you're really just wanting to pass it around, not give up any turnovers. Of course, only 3 defenders back for the Chapman Panthers. Morrison now plays it out to the X to Reginelli. Reginelli plays it in to McDonald. McDonald finishes it! Another goal for Adam McDonald. Look at him celebrate down there. He'll extend the lead to 14. And now the Chapman Panthers with some momentum. Chapman 14, Arizona 11.
Heck yeah, that was a great shot by number 33, Adam McDonald. That was beautiful. We saw the celebration down on the field. They are fired up, have a bigger lead, 14-11. That is some great momentum going into the last 12 minutes of this quarter, Lucas.
Look at the replay on this, CJ. Absolutely nails it. Almost breaks the back of that net. Adam McDonald, on a personal note, you love to see a player like that succeed in sports. Of course, he's in our major, and he has been absolutely electric as the faceoff again is won by the Chapman Panthers. And this is the momentum that these Panthers have been needing in the final quarter of action. It'll be Reginelli. Now it'll be Sabri. Bruggeman.
Slowing it down a little bit, looking like these Panthers are feeling comfortable, which can be good and bad. We're hoping it's a good comfortable. Get another shot and goal in maybe.
You can see Coach Calais just staying with cool nerves down there on the sideline as the Chapman Panthers are looking to make another break. Pushed. Bruggeman finds the pass to the X to Kolobis. Has Walker trying to find his 7th goal of the season. Back to DeColobis. Chapman Panthers seem to be on a sequence of action on this one. DeColobis spins, gets inside, jump shot, and it's good! Dante DeColobis, the junior! One of the best the Chapman Panthers has to offer, and they're on an absolute run in this fourth quarter of action. CJ, Chapman 15, Arizona 11.
Absolutely. When the stakes are this high during a game, this is what happens. You feed off the energy. You get more excited, and as you're playing the game, you just get sharper, especially being on the field, something like this. It's hot, it's sunny. You have fans packing the stage of Wilson Field, and you are just loving getting goal after goal after goal. And these Chapman Panthers are having a fantastic fourth quarter and end to their game.
This is the type of momentum that the Chapman Panthers need. And now it's just up to the defense to be able to hold tight, keep the lock on the vault. Now it'll be more set. Chapman Panthers holding on to it. Now at the X. Slowing it down. If you're in the lead in this game, CJ, after such an electric 5 initial minutes in this fourth quarter of action, you just want to slow it down as Morset seems to contradict us with those quick feet that he has. Spins, turns, shot, and it's saved just about by Aiden Schuyler.
Absolutely. During this point in the game, you want to make sure that you're excited and you have the good energy, but also keep it slow just in case. You don't want to get sloppy and messy, and these Chapman Panthers are doing a great job of keeping it calm and collected.
No doubt. Now we'll see DeColobis again with another shot, and it's saved by Schuyler. And that would have been insane, CJ, if he scored another one. He's seeming to have an unreal performance in this game.
Oh.
Of course, DeColobis with 3 goals. And now we see him again trying to hold on to the ball. DeColobis recovers it, and now he has some space. 3 defenders back for them. He's running. He still has it, and he makes it count! That's the fourth goal, of the night for Dante DeColobis. And look at him down there. He knows what he did, CJ.
Lucky number 44, 4 goals in this game. Phenomenal for our junior. They must be fired up right now. 16-11 lead.
And he did that all by himself. Recovered the ball, got the high to low, nailed it at the near post. and 4 goals in this game for Dante DeColobis. Look at the celebrations in there. That's how much it means to this team. And it's looking like the Chapman Panthers will somehow be able to keep the implications in. As the ball is back underway, recovered by Reginelli. Chapman Panthers on quite the sequence. Now Reginelli just holding on to it. Holden Walker. A little bit under 9 minutes remaining in this 4th quarter of action.
Like we spoke about before, they really want to make sure that they're being calm and smart playing. There's no need to get ahead of themselves, make messy shots or messy passes. So they really want to cool it down, keep it around this 5-star method that Callis has been practicing, and really just make sure that they're being intentional with their gameplay.
Holden Walker with the pass a little bit too high, tried to find DeColobis on that one, and now maybe an opportunity for Arizona to start evening it out. 5-goal difference in between both teams. And now under some high pressure, Skylar's just about was able to deal with DeColobis. And he has been absolutely on fire. His X factor sure seems to be turned on offense, CJ.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Some aggressive gameplay, exactly what we want from the junior and all of the other Chapman Panthers. On the defensive side of Chapman, which we haven't talked about much.
Speak of the devil, CJ. On the defensive side, Ryan Shugart making another save. And not too much action for him in the last few moments. The defense have really been holding it down solid for the grand majority of this. It's truly been just Chapman offense as the substitutions are made. Switching it on, it's Worth.
Absolutely. Ryan Shugart, the freshman, still proving himself in this game. Haven't seen a lot of him in this last quarter as the Chapman Panthers have kept it very much on the offensive side. However, you can't discount Ryan Shugart's pure natural talent and knack that he has for the game of lacrosse.
A freshman phenom, Ryan Shugart, the freshman goalie. Chapman Panthers just playing it nice and calm. 39 seconds remaining on the shot clock and ticking down to a little bit under 7 minutes remaining on the clock. Chapman still holding the lead, 16-11. That'll be Voman playing it around. Reginelli plays it out to Worth. Pride of Boulder, Colorado. What can he do? Morset at the 30-yard line has some distance. Back to Worth. And Worth plays it to the X. Reginelli plays it into DeColobis, takes the shot, and another one for Dante DeColobis. That is 5th of the night. No stopping him, and this has been no doubt the game of the season for him.
Absolutely. Dante DeColobis, a fantastic shot again, making the score now 17-11. Wow, 5 goals in one game compared to his 12 that he had, or 4 goals in one game, excuse me, that he had compared to the 12 going into it. This might be his best game of his college career, some may say.
No doubt, of course, in 2023, he was Freshman of the Year, and he is playing as player of the game, it seems, for this Chapman side. 4 goals all by himself as the Chapman Panthers again recovered, but the referee will call it back. And the Chapman Panthers now with a 6-goal lead. Chapman Panthers 17, Arizona 11. Now an opportunity for Arizona to get back on the attack. Not too much from them in the last few moments, but now an opportunity to get some momentum of their own.
Absolutely. Like we said with the Chapman Panthers, sometimes when the pressure gets too much, they start to snowball, and I fear that might be happening with the Arizona Wildcats right now.
No doubt, still a space, and another goal goes in! And now the Chapman Panthers with some danger. The 3rd of the night for Gunnar Hinden. The hat trick for him. That is 19th goal of the season. And these are the moments where the Chapman Panthers need to watch out, but you can't write off the Arizona Wildcats. What a finish from Hinden on that one.
That was a phenomenal shot right when they need it. They need a little pick-me-up, and Gunnar Hinden was there ready to shoot and score. And look at that. He's got the energy up for the Arizona Wildcats a little bit and might be scaring the Panthers slightly.
Ticking down to little close to 6 minutes remaining as Kirby wins the faceoff, and this is a quick break for the Wildcats, slowing it down now. Has some space in front. Sundling with the ball, comes in behind him. Maybe you didn't see Lucas Losi on that one, but the ball is recovered by McKernan. Now it'll be Jack McKernan just slowing with some space for the pass. It's on Kraft. Kraft still with it. Kraft with a shot, and it's appeared to take a rebound and out to the far side of Ryan Shugart. And I'm sure if you're Shugart right now, you have your eagle eye enabled, just tracking that ball, making sure nothing gets by. Now it'll be Garrett Lawson. Lawson still with it. Plays it to nobody. A lazy pass from Garrett Lawson, and now we see Losi shoulders him off, holding on to it. Can the Chapman Panthers retain possession? Tries to, Pandis not able to, gets bodied. And that will be a foul. Chapman Panthers will love that one. Although Tyler Pandis seems to limp off, that is not what you want to see. But now a quick break from Ursino. Has Reginelli, plays it out to McDonald, who slows it down. And McDonald will just slow it down, waiting for the substitutions to come and help him out. Walker. Sabri now back to Reginelli. A little under 5 minutes remaining on the clock. Chapman Panthers with 17, Arizona with 12. What a spectacle of a game we've had, CJ. Such a high scoring.
Absolutely. Callis, in our conversations earlier this week, says that he expects his team to score at least 10 points a game, making their loss against GCU with only 6 points very disappointing for him and the rest of the Chapman Panthers. This game is definitely a quick turnaround from that.
This is the display you want if you're a Chapman fan. Although they've had some difficult games in the past, they've been absolutely electric in this one. And now it'll be back on the attack. Stays outside the crease yard line. DeColobus almost tried to get his 5th, but unfortunately wasn't able to hold on to it. Ticking down to 4 minutes, and DeColobus comes in heavy. We've seen that high energy from him for the entire of this second half of action. 4 goals for him. 16 on the season. He's been phenomenal. Now the Chapman defense is looking to hold on to him around 2 players. Has 3 in front. Sundling plays it out to Eklund. Eklund stick check, still holding on to, has Bergman in front. Fakes the shot, plays it out to Kraft. Or excuse me, not Kraft, I believe. It was Messer. Now it'll be on the far side. Long shot's taken at the near post, and it's in! Chapman Panthers need to watch out, but what a shot! For Ludenridge Sundling. Alex Storr mentioned him at the halftime break, and he is sure showing up.
Absolutely. That was phenomenal. Beautiful gameplay. These Chapman Panthers might be getting a little bit nervous. Less than 4 minutes, but only 4 goals to make up. This is the type of thing that Callis really hates to see. He's scared that our Chapman Panthers might start to put the pressure on themselves, snowball a little bit, get a little messy. We can only hope that for these last 3 minutes and 36 seconds, they can keep it together, keep their momentum, and not let up another goal. Lucas?
And the face-off is won by the Chapman Panthers. Knocks the stick out of Cody Shettleson's hands, excuse me, not house. And now it'll be
flag thrown.
Ditloff back in. Ditloff with a shine, saved by Shugart. As stoppage will come to a stop for the Flags. But you have to see down there on the sideline at the Chapman bench, you have to appreciate Vincent McKaylee. Of course, he isn't suited up, but he has the backwards black hat on, trying to rile up his teammates. Unfortunately, wasn't able to play this season. However, he has been an influential player, just getting that motivation, and now substituted onto the field for the Chapman Panthers. One of our commentating companions, you could say, number 35, Ben Bauman.
Ben Bauman, another fellow broadcast journalist, CSBN commentator on the field. Long stick defense.
Hoping to keep the defenders out as the shot's taken towards the near post, but just a little bit over the goal.
Excuse me, really got to give the credit to Ryan Shugart, the freshman. He is dealing with a lot right now. There's only a few goals of difference between the two. It is 17-13 on the scoreboard over here.
And Ryan Shugart somehow saved that. How did he save that? Ethan Messer was all by himself.
Credit to the freshman, Ryan Shugart. Phenomenal game playing.
Now it'll be Ursino, just wanting to slow it down. Chapman needing to hold it on. You can feel the tension rising here at Wilson Field. 2.5 minutes remaining on the clock. And the Chapman Panthers needing to hold on if they want to keep their dream of playoffs alive. It'll really come down to the wire on this one. Bowman now. Just Josh Bowman holding on to it. Just waiting it out. Still has 35 seconds remaining on the shot clock. No need to rush if you're the Chapman Panthers wanting to grind it out. Josh Bowman winds it up, and Josh Bowman with the shot. Just goes over, but the Chapman Panthers will be back there. Dante DeColobis, of course, as shifty and aware as he is, waits in the backfield to recover the ball. And now it'll be DeColobis, the 4-goal man, back on the attack for the Chapman Panthers. Little under 2 minutes remaining here at Wilson Field. It'll be Rocco Reginelli with some space. Plays it in, shots taken, and it's good! Josh Bowman, the captain, hat-trick. Another one for the Chapman Panthers. His 21st goal of the season, Reginelli with the assist.
We knew that was to be expected of our senior. That was amazing gameplay. The team, the bench is fired up, Lucas.
Timeout called. Rocco Reginelli with the assist. An underappreciated player in this game. He started this game for this Chapman Panthers side. As we see the goal right there, high to low, absolutely beautiful. Put his entire body behind the shot, and it counted in. Look at that bench. They can feel it. A little bit of enthusiasm for Cody Shevelson on that one. He's been great on the faceoff so far, playing against such a good athlete like Hunter Kirby. Second in SLC faceoff for University of Arizona. And if you're Coach Callis, CJ, one of the final timeouts, I'm sure, in this game, what are you beating into this Chapman defense, and what are you telling them to do?
Coach Callis, I can almost guarantee, is down there telling his guys to keep it cool, keep it calm. They have a 5-point lead with less than 2 minutes in the entirety of the game. Now, it's very unlikely that Arizona Wildcats will be able to pick that back up for a win. However, you don't want the margin to get any smaller. You want to continue to have this lead, to be 5 points ahead of these other teams, to almost ensure or get a step closer to that playoff spot. Now, again, we've talked about how both University of Arizona as well as the Chapman Panthers are competing for these 3 playoff spots, but you can't discount GCU, UCLA, and USC, who are all also vying for these 3 playoff spots.
No doubt, CJ. And not too long left in this game as the faceoff is set to get underway. Cody Shevelson out there, trying to win it. And can he win it? A bit of a battle with Kirby, not able to. University of Arizona is able to get it. A bit of a scramble down there. They'll stop the game. U of A holding on to the ball. And now try to get the shot. Had a lot of time, but just fumbled it on that one. Flag is thrown, and still with the ball. Shots taken and saved, I believe, by Sugar and bounced out. But there is a flag down there on the field, which will cause another stoppage in time. Ben Bauman now coming back in, another defender. Out comes McKay Ketchum, the LSM. Another Southern California native, McKay Ketchum, number 9 for the Chapman Panthers. Slashing against the Chapman Panthers.
I believe that was Lucas Losi.
And now shots taken, and just goes over the head. And some high pressure if you're the Chapman Panthers. 5-goal margin of victory at the moment, but really wanting to hold on to it. Now back to him, the Wildcats on the attack. Long shots taken and saved by Ryan Sugar. That's what he's known to do, and he executes the save in the final stages of the game. Little under a minute remaining, and the Chapman Panthers hold a 5-goal lead.
Absolutely. Credit to the freshman Ryan Shugart. He has shown time and time again during this game previous to this season that he has what it takes to make a difference on the Chapman Panthers team, and he is demonstrating that beautifully this game against the Wildcats.
It'll be Reginelli to just run it out. If they hold on to possession, they will win the game. 49 seconds remaining and 35 seconds remaining on the clock. It'll be Vomond holding on to possession. If you're Coach Callis, just telling your team to hold on to it. Elijah Bergerman into the field. 20 seconds remaining on the clock. And he'll just clock it out, standing there. Elijah Bergerman just holding on to it. 10 seconds remaining. 7 seconds remaining, and for the first time in 3 games, it will be the Chapman Panthers who get the win at home. And finally, they've been able to break through and get the win. Look at them out there celebrating with their goalie, Ryan Shugart. And you have to give it up to Dante DeColobis. 4 goals in this game, CJ. An unheard of performance out of this planet, Dante DeColobis. And whatever changes Coach Callis made, they worked to perfection.
Absolutely. Coach Callis had a different strategy for this game than he did before, and I believe it was executed perfectly. He said he wanted the Chapman Panthers to go in with no expectations, not be afraid of what might possibly happen, and it seemed like that went amazingly for them. An 18-13 win. Absolutely amazing from these Chapman Panthers.
No doubt about it. The underdogs are able to beat University of Arizona, and what an absolutely phenomenal game as well we had here at Wilson Field. So back and forth at times. Sometimes we weren't even able to call it. It was that close, but luckily the Chapman Panthers finally in that fourth quarter were able to hold on.
Absolutely. And as we look for the rest of this season, both of these teams were competing for playoffs. They need to win the next few games in order to ensure their spot. Now, coming up this week, Arizona plays ASU, the top dog here. Now, as we see from this game, these players have had some great chemistry on the field. The energy has been great between both teams. Lucas?
No doubt, CJ. Well, you see from some of these goals, the Chapman Panthers had some difficulties with the Wildcats really coming up and scoring, but there he is, Dante DeColobis, an absolute out-of-this-planet player, scored 4 goals, 5 goals. 5 goals, we think. So Dante DeColobis, I know, no doubt, CJ. Dante DeColobis, absolute huge performances, and there we can see him celebrating an absolute deserved celebration for these Chapman Panthers. You can see the emotions down there. Look at that. That's cinematic, CJ.
Of course, these Chapman Panthers better be fired up after that win. It's looking great for the rest of the season. Next week, they play USC, another team competing for those playoff spots. And, you know, it's going to be a great matchup between them.
No doubt, CJ. Well, with all that said and done, you have to give huge credit to Coach Callis. We watched him throughout the week change some practices, make some, you could say, risky decisions in this game, putting freshman Ryan Beechin instead of Cody Shevelson, a face-off player who's very good historically speaking, but it turns out that that change that he made really paid off.
Absolutely. The different plays that he made, the slides, using 2 LSMs, as we've been mentioning, to keep the defense strong and keep them from, you know, being overpowered by the offensive side on Arizona. It really worked out amazing. It was fantastic for both of them, both teams. Dogfight, but Callis' strategy, really, you can't commend it enough. He changed it, he switched things around, even though the pressure was on, and it worked out amazingly for the Chapman Panthers.
No doubt, CJ. And now, down on the sideline, Alex Dorr again has an interview for us. Alex, what do you got?
Now, I am down here with our CSBN MVP, number 44 for Chapman, Dante DeColobis. Now, Dante, coming into this game, you knew Arizona was going to be a tough opponent. How did you keep up a strong mentality to pull off this win?
Well, it's been a tough season. We've had a lot of losses, but it's just like persistence, like falling in love with the mundane in practice and having a good week of practice and working together as a team, moving the ball, and we're able to get it done.
Amazing. Now, you scored an impressive 5 goals this game. What was clicking for you out there?
It was honestly all my teammates giving me open looks and everything. It wasn't a lot of like one-on-one dodges to the goal, but other than my teammates, just my hustle and just trying hard, giving it my all every second of the game.
Preach. Now, as you head into the rest of conference play, what are you going to take away from this game to apply to the rest of the season?
Yeah, we still got a shot to make playoffs, so just keep working hard and take it from there.
Amazing. Thank you. Now, back up to you in the booth, Lucas and CJ.
Thank you so much, Alex, for that absolute great insight. And you have to say, CJ, what a moment for these Chapman Panthers. Haven't won in 3 games, but finally they're able to celebrate a victory at home.
Absolutely. You know, upon talking to some of these Chapman Panther players earlier in this week, they told me they were a lot more dialed in for this game, hoping to pull out a win because they've had such a tough past few games. And I think that it worked out perfectly for them. They should be celebrating, be excited about that win.
No doubt, CJ. And you have to give credit to the likes of the entire Chapman team, apart from just Dante DeColbis, who, as we just saw, had an absolutely out-of-this-planet game. You have to give credit Jack Worth, Josh Voman, and Nicholas Ursino. Some of the captains of this team in this game absolutely proved their worth.
Of course. And as we know, the Chapman Panthers are D1 MCLA. That means they are not supported by the school. So if you look at this QR code, you can donate to the Chapman Panthers men's lacrosse team. As we know, they need the support just as much as every other sports team at Chapman, even though they don't get it from the school. Lucas?
No doubt, CJ. Well, with all that said and done, we'd like to thank you for joining us here live on CSBN. My name is Lucas Pan, accompanied by CJ Smith with Alex Dort down there on the sideline, and we'd like to wish you a good night.